Before we get into that, I would like to have these two wonderful people talk about themselves. So, who are you and what is the Roomie space?
We with.
Yeah, well, we're the roomies, Danielle and Elijah, and we talk about a lot of our experiences as a male and female roommate, our life experiences and everything, and just generally trying to get people to learn from our mistakes, hear our crazy stories, and just choose a better path. We want to show people who feel like they're ostracized or like they're outcast or they feel like they failed in some aspect of their life that just keep pushing, keep going, keep trying new stuff. It gets better, and yeah, there's a lot out there for you to experience and grasp. So
Wow. That's it.
Yeah, that was like, oh yeah,
question.
he had to talk.
So
What are you? Who are you, man?
This is why I rock with her heavy. Just make life
Easier.
I know.
Voila.
But yeah, for sure. I'm Elijah. I definitely try to push. Life doesn't always have to be that serious. You feel me? A lot of times we all be so caught up within. We have to live a certain type of way. We're under the pressure. A man have to be a certain type of way, and it's like, who creates these standards? Who creates what a man have to be? Other than you feel me? Should it be yourself?
yeah.
So that's the message I try to push, and Danielle obviously helps me. She keeps me balanced, because I will be kind of all over the place, and she brings that structure. So that's just how we operate, a little bit about our dynamics. So that's who we are.
The right balance of masculine and feminine. I like that. That'll lead into that conversation. So what's like interpretation of relationship? Like, what do you think is an ideal relationship, and what you think is a healthy relationship?
Mm, in my opinion, I just feel like when it comes to relationships, everybody have their own what they feel like, what they feel like a relationship is. So I can't really say what's a healthy relationship. What I could say for me, a healthy relationship would be more like honesty, communication. You know, we're not always perfect, so I would like for my partner to bring, some type of realness with, be real with me. If I'm ever getting out of line, please check me. That's what I like. You feel me? I have accountability. I like for my partner to have that as well. So that's how I feel on relationships and what I feel is healthy. Of course, according to me, because everybody got their own.
Yeah, for me, a healthy relationship is really like communication is a very big and critical part of any relationship. That's the thing that really defines us as humans and our ability to communicate. To the depths of like what we desire and what we see for our future. And on top of that, just like a balance of energies, like just with it being harmonious. I don't necessarily like my perspective of relationships has kind of changed. It's more so of instead of trying to make it fit into some sort of box of what you feel like it should be based on like the things you see around you. It's really all about knowing yourself and when you're entering this relationship, how do these two or multiple energies interact with each other and how you're able to progress both as an individual and as a unit within that relationship.
And do you think as humans that like what do you think when people say like, oh, I'd rather do things on my own or being like a lone wolf? Like, do you think it's I feel humans we need community, we need support, but there's people out there who rather just not rely on people or want to do things for thyself. Like, what do you think about those people?
I believe we had an episode about this when we talked about different attachment styles, and the one that you're describing is an avoidant attachment style, which I have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So with that, it's kind of because a lot of the times with avoidant, like I can say from my personal experience, my avoidant attachment style was from trauma of having to be hyper independent at a very young age. So that's something I was used to the point where I would be in a situation where I would need help and I wouldn't ask for it because I'm very used to solving problems on my own or being disappointed in the outcome when I invite somebody else in. So, the whole lone wolf thing, of course, people who are very introverted like to be alone, but like you said, community is really important. So I think it's important to have it where if you're in a situation where you need help, you need some sort of assistance, you need some sort of emotional support or anything, get to that point where even though you're a lone wolf, it's still if that situation arises, you feel comfortable seeking it out, or you have people that you can identify as someone that you can lean on for that type of support. It's really just that balance.
Right. And but I think it's hard, especially if you come from a background of hyper independence, because I came from that, but I'm also very prideful. So my mom used to tell me like, "Yo, don't ask for help because a lot of people like to have power over you." So it's always been in my head, like when I needed help, I was thinking, "Oh, people gonna have power over me and try to control me."
Yeah.
So I think it resonates with what you're saying, but I feel also pride could really be a big like toll on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that ego and
Right.
pride.
How do you guys balance the ego with like Elijah talks about it a lot. He talks about like sometimes the ego be talking and sometimes it's your higher self talking. How do you balance between listening to the ego and the higher self, or do you cut out the ego completely, or do you like listen to like your higher self, God?
He
Mm,
means like intuition and logic. That's
yeah,
a
I feel
simple way.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't you can't be who you are without each one. So I feel like the best way I've learned to balance my ego, my intuition,
Yeah,
I just look at it as situations. It's like where if she's talking to me, I won't look at it from an ego perspective. I look at it from like I'm in tune with her. So it's like our intuitions are talking. So I look at it as situations, or if there's a time where I feel like I have to believe in myself and nobody else believes in me, that's when I look at it from like, okay, this is my ego talking because I have to get where I have to get. I have to go where I have to go.
wow.
So
Yes.
I always pick the situation and then I say, okay, in this situation, what would benefit me more, ego or my intuition?
Mm.
So
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like, that's really just like that balance because we can talk about ourselves and everything, the spiritual plane, but we're living in reality and we have to operate in reality. So that's where that ego comes in to be able to help you navigate like you said, certain situations. Like you don't have to cut it off completely. That's part of who you are. That's part of being human. It's just about having that awareness of it. One, and then once you have that awareness of it, okay, you can control it to where situation by situation, you're able to function in the best way to help you move on or grow from that situation and not have. Because when you're controlled by the ego, then you're just yeah, you're all over the place. Like you don't stand for nothing. You're wrong for anything type shit. But
Mm.
yeah.
And what ways do you control your ego, or the best you can?
Me, I learned that taking a pause before reacting to
Mm.
things. Like we talking about me being a fire sign, so I can be very reactionary to certain situations. But I've been in therapy and I've grown to the point where I can really take a pause. Like sometimes, like I'll be like, okay, I just need to be by myself right now because I'm not in the headspace to really react to something. It's more about responding. Like I can take this moment, take all of this into consideration and respond accordingly instead of reacting. Because if I'm reacting, that's my ego talking
Right.
every single time. So I definitely need to take that time out to assess, reflect.
I have a question. You brought up therapy. So first, I want to say congratulations, and second, amongst Black people, therapy is not. I don't want to say taboo, but it's like something we've been. Well, now it's becoming normal. I mean, it's becoming more like a thing now, awareness. But as all of us growing up, it was like very taboo. Like, oh, therapy, like that's for like the crazies, or like we don't need that. So from your background, if you have dealt with therapy, like what has changed you? What have you seen by yourself when you started therapy?
well, I've been in therapy since I was a kid. My mom was big on therapy, so
Okay.
it was just in that moment I couldn't understand what was going on. I just felt like I was just talking in circles. But as I got older, I realized sometimes you don't always have to have the answers. Sometimes you literally just speaking out your feelings, just speaking out your whatever you're going through at that moment. It helps you build clarity. Because I've been like, okay, am I angry or I'm frustrated? Am I am I sad or am I just disappointed? You feel me? Because anger is a secondary emotion. So I've learned, like you say, you just take that step back, and I feel like therapy has helped me really just talk to yourself, say figure out what's going on before you react to everything.
Mm.
So therapy has helped me a lot, actually.
Yeah, and me with therapy, a lot of times I think the stigma surrounding therapy is just admitting that you're imperfect and that you
Mm.
need help and you need to grow. So for me, um, I was in situations where I really like kind of just hit rock bottom, and I was like, okay, I don't want to continue operating from a space of trauma. Like me operating from a space of trauma, just my life is going crazy. So it's just like I want to take some sort of action to try and do better, to choose better for
Mm.
myself. And the first time I was in therapy, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't all that great. It's definitely like the trial and error. But the therapist I have now was able to really feel safe in expressing a lot of things I've experienced because my therapist is a black woman, and so
Mm.
I think that's actually a really critical part of being comfortable because you have that relatability factor. But also, therapy it's a process. You're not just gonna go in there and like all of a sudden all your problems solved. It's just like growth is never ending. It's always never ending. Like just helping you have some sort of direction in your healing
Mm.
Hmm.
and taking more control of just your life and your emotions and being able to operate better in the world. And I think that as it becomes more destigmatized and more accessible to the black community and underserved communities, it's not going to happen in one day, but it's definitely getting better. And
Right. I like to. It was great hearing that from both you guys about the therapy because I remember actually when I was in elementary school, I had a therapist for like a short time period, and I feel like I don't know how do you guys feel about this. That do you think that for the children that's going to school, should they all have a therapist as they're like growing and going to the next grade, or do you think that should be like a mandatory thing, or is it just what do you guys feel about that?
I feel like growing up, we should teach the purpose of therapy and let people.
Okay.
Once you teach the purpose of it, it makes people more comfortable because you can't just, as a kid, if you don't have like that home where you could like speak your feelings and stuff like that, you don't feel safe to speak your feelings.
Yeah.
A kid might not know like, hey, is this somebody I could trust? They might not feel safe talking to a random person. So but once you teach them the purpose of therapy,
Therapy.
what you can possibly get from it, you'll let them make that decision for themselves. Once they grow up, like, okay, I've been learning this what therapy could do for me. So it makes them comfortable making that decision.
Right.
Because once they make that decision, they'll be feeling more, okay, open, more comfortable because they feel like they have the power in therapy to they feel like they made that decision to go to therapy, not it wasn't made for them. So
Mm.
I don't feel like it should be mandatory, but I do feel like it should be mandatory to teach what good can come from therapy.
Right. So you're saying the parents should be teaching the children that from the jump? That's what you're saying?
I
Or?
feel like in schools they should be teaching because a lot of times parents don't even know what therapy is, so that's why they tend
Oh,
to
right.
ostracize it. They make it with the black community. What we don't understand, we call it weird.
Mm.
So
Or like an
it
outcast. So it's like
is an
some
outcast. It's
taboo.
weird,
Yeah.
but we just don't
Yeah.
understand it.
Right. It's lame. It's corny. Right.
That's why I feel like we should teach what it is, what it can do for you, so people could get comfortable. Like, okay, you know what? Once you plant that seed, then once they're ready to open up,
Yeah.
they can actually take the full experience.
Mm.
yeah,
So
it's really interesting that you say that because I went to like a little charter school or whatever, and we had these things called decompression sessions, and it was optional. Like during like our leadership class, we were like, okay, today we're having a decompression session, so if anyone wants to join, go into a room or whatever. And I think because I remember I didn't initially do it, but then I eventually got into it, because the choice was first of all it wasn't mandatory, so the choice was presented to me. And then I was like, okay, let me try it out. And I think that was a really good model in how to kind of navigate people into being more open to the idea of it because and then we also learned about the benefits of talking out your feelings.
yeah.
And so just those little steps and destigmatizing it just I can
Mhm.
say from experience it really helps because you know you're providing an education of like an alternative way to help yourself. It's just like maybe we can learn about ourselves rather than like learning, regular school shit and everything. And so
Exactly.
Yeah,
Actually,
I actually like the title of how they named it. It's a decompression room.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
like a kind of like a group therapy type of thing. But of course, we had access to like a school counselor who was more one on one. So yeah, I think that was just like a good model of how to help kids learn about themselves and their feelings.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I mean, I had a question because you said decompression room, and you said you went to a charter school, and I was just thinking about like my background when I was in public school. Um, I mean, well, yeah, you're from New York, so like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot a lot of inner city schools, when they lacked funding, there wasn't a lot of resources where we had stuff like that. Oh, we, shit, I barely learned anything. It was just more like this is what you get, this is it.
Yeah.
You get math, science, you have to do this because that's what you're told to do. It's not like, yo, I could go to a concert and like spill my heart out because 20 dudes want to jump me or something. Like it's more like I have to figure it out
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So I was just saying like, um, for you having that, do you think also it deals with certain neighborhoods, like the certain I don't want to say classism, you could say like status, like income status, like to
Economic.
have those resources and privileges?
So my school's a little bit different. Their whole model was like planting themselves in like the bad neighborhoods and
Mm.
like giving kids an alternative option. It was based on the lottery system.
Oh
So
wow.
I think like
Oh,
I was very grateful to have that experience and to receive that. But like on a larger scale, like you're saying for public schools, like a lot of kids just fall through the cracks because of lack of resources and just basically being underfunded and not being able to just being pushed through the system without
Right.
actually taking into consideration like their individual needs and things like that, or even just giving the fuck about their future, And yeah, that is a really big issue with public education. In my opinion, I think it needs to be reformed. Like
Topic for another day.
exactly, I can go on a whole spiel about
They
it.
don't even want to
Listen, we
reform
got
it.
time right here.
They don't even want to reform it. Being honest.
Exactly. That's a larger conversation. But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying because, like, if I know for a fact, like, if I was not able to get into that and I went to the public school that I would have been zoned to, like, I don't know where I would be
different
right now.
timeline, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't go to public, so maybe you could speak on public.
They, like I said, they don't even want to reform it. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I always tell Elijah because like when I be seeing
You talking about me?
yeah, oh yeah, Elijah Legacy and this Elijah the motivator. But now I always tell him that I'm like, cause we complain about a lot of problems all the time, and I feel like the quote I always tell Elijah, I'm like, yo, be the change that you complain about, So like, I know the school system is messed up. I personally wish that they added a lot of different things in the school system, like more mental health, more financial programs,
Literacy.
just more real life tools that we need. Because I feel like when I went to high school in Manhattan, in New York, I feel like everybody in my school, yes, we had good kids, bad kids, whatever, but we all have potential. But I feel like the schools did a bad job of just like capturing our attention. So
Mhm.
I personally feel like the change, and if you want to plant those seeds, I feel like it's through the education and the school systems, like you said, because those little, just having that one extra program or that one extra thing could change someone's whole like outlook on things. Um, so like I definitely agree on that. How do you guys feel about how do you guys feel about tackling? How can I put this in words? How do you guys go about recognizing a problem and then identifying the problem and then taking action towards it? Like, do you have like a step by step process on how do you do that?
So the way me and I can kind of assume because we talk a lot. The way me and D try to handle that problem
Yeah.
is we just try to be the example. We just try to lead by example. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, to you can't force somebody to say, hey, do this, do that, do that. So you have to be the example. Like what we're doing right now, this is an example of what we're preaching. So once they see, us black men being comfortable with each other, talking about therapy, emotions,
Word.
Being vulnerable,
being
right?
vulnerable. Once they see her, like she's a black woman, they see her in a different light, respecting us, respecting our emotions, respecting that vulnerability. It opens up doors because it makes people feel like, wait, it's not taboo because I seen somebody do it. So maybe I could do it. And that's all you can really do in the black community because it's like you say, nobody's really pushing that message. It Negativity spreads faster in our community.
But why is that? Why do you
Especially,
think it's
especially with social media, my bad. Especially with social media. Yeah.
Because it's more exciting. People try to escape their lives. Why would you if you feel like, your life is already chaos, my life is so chaos, I would rather see chaos in other people's lives because that's all they see. That's all they're accustomed
Everybody
to.
loves company.
That's it. So it's just like I say with the school system, they don't want to reform it because why would you teach? These schools are in hoods. Why would you teach hoods about
Yeah.
therapy, bettering themselves? Because black people are the economy. Like we spend the money the
yeah,
most.
the most.
$1 trillion.
I
But
gotta
but that comes when we need validation the most. That's why you see us always spending
damn.
$1,000. We'll spend our last $1,000 on some Amiri jeans that he just put his letters on there. But we give it that worth because we need that validation.
Validation, like
So
Grammys and all that.
And I think I remember me and you talked about this before, but yeah, they also need validation. But I think black people, not me, but most black people are so used to like being like worthless. It's like when they want that validation, they don't get a reciprocation. We're like, okay, like it's all right, and they keep in the cycle like trying to like look outside and just more like, nah, let me just love myself. Like let me validate my own self. I gotta go outside and get from these people or this brand to be something or
but
whatever.
how do you tell somebody about that? How you tell somebody about something they never seen before? Their parents don't do it. Their neighborhood, the kids in their neighborhoods don't do it. So how do you tell somebody about that? How can you tell somebody, hey, this is the right way when they never seen it done in person before? That's why I say we have to lead by example.
Right.
That's all we can do.
Right.
So just to answer that question, how would you tackle problems? Just
Yeah.
mostly lead by example.
Lead by example.
It's the best thing you can do, and not drain yourself because
No,
Yeah,
understand.
like the whole idea. I was seeing this tweet the other day about the pro black to these niggas is fucked pipeline is
pipeline.
very underrated, and that really is true. And I'm just gonna say it. The unfortunate thing is you can't save everyone. Like it's really just about making as big of an impact as you can, and
Right.
that's like the huge boundary that you have to have because you will go down just as well if you're over here trying to save everybody and bring everybody up. Like, no, it's planting. It's about planting that seed, and if people hear it, maybe they're not going to follow you. Maybe that seed will lead them elsewhere. But it's all about just trying to plant that seed and giving them like the ability to realize, hey, I can choose better for myself. I can do better for myself. I can work towards fixing my problems and work towards personal growth rather than just feeding into all of these negative stereotypes and the negativity and toxicity that society so often throws upon us in particular.
Right.
Right.
Do you think people? I don't want to say they like it, but you feel like people, not that they're accustomed to it, but they feel like they just so like they just like the company of misery because when you want to change for better, don't you like you have to take accountability, like responsibility for your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like most people don't want to do that. It's just more like, damn, this is why I'm suffering. This is why X, Y, and Z. So, do you feel that? Do you feel that people don't change? And this is for family, human spirit, our family, friends, all that, so-called friends. They don't want to do it because they have to take responsibility of their own life.
Yes, accountability is a very loaded, heavy word for people to bear. It's just like, and because when things happen, a lot of times, it's easier to say it's easier to try to put the blame on somebody else rather than focusing on, okay, what can I control and how can I fix this? It's much easier to be like I can say for the black community, it's much easier to be like the white man this, the white man that. It's easier to say that and stay complacent in the area that you're in or like the situation that you're in rather than coming together, realizing toxic patterns, realizing, hey, we want better, so let's work towards it because it's really about choosing your heart. Okay, you're gonna blame this person and that person. You're still having a hard time. Like if you give yourself the like you allow yourself to take accountability and be like, okay, I'm having a hard time. Let's try to do something about it. That's hard too. It's like pick one.
I used to like I agree with everybody. It's just I've learned over time at what point you've been toxic your whole life. At what point do you look at toxic as good? So it's just like, yes, you could tell somebody they might not like the accountability. That's hard too. So you tell somebody, hey, you're suffering. They have to realize they're suffering. So that's a whole step in its own. A lot of people don't even realize they're suffering because they've been suffering for so long. They feel like it's good to them. They're comfortable with that. So they don't even realize they're suffering. So then once you tell them like, hey, you're suffering, then like Dan said, it comes accountability. Why am I suffering? Because of me. That's already a hard pill to swallow. Considering you never even seen your mom can't even tell you sorry. Your dad can't even tell you sorry. Your parents been telling you sorry, but they have to bribe you with something another way instead of just owning up, say, "Hey, I messed up." So how can somebody sit there and say, it's hard or you're in control of your own actions when they really just don't even be knowing that what they're doing is causing them to suffer?
And that goes back to the concept of ego and pride.
A
It's the
lot of
whole
people,
thing, right?
ego is a three-letter word. People can't even spell that. They don't even know what ego is.
Mm,
Like you talk about intuition. What is that?
mm,
How can you tell somebody when all they know is fight, gun, shoot? You
mm,
say, use your intuition. What is that?
mm.
You tell them your instincts. Grab a gun.
Right.
You feel me?
Word.
Use your instincts. Grab a gun. Shoot. That's all I've been knowing. That's
Mm.
instincts to them. So they feel like they are using their intuition.
Mm.
Man.
No, that makes a lot of sense because I guess it depends on like what level you are at as far as personal development. Um, I really like how you explained that because shoot, what was I gonna say? Well, I lost the train of thought, but it was so perfect how you like explained it because not everybody knows the language that you're talking. So like me, and you could be saying something they don't understand what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So, um, what do you think? Do you have any suggestions for people like that? Should they expand their horizon or like any steps that they should be taking to like get to that level?
It literally just goes back to what I keep saying. You got to just keep showing people. You have to show people differently for them to understand. Like, okay, wait, he's a black man like me, but why is he living like this? And I'm living like this. That's when they start questioning themselves. That's when that curiosity comes. But then they see us talking about, intuition, ego. They're like, damn, I don't know what none of that means. But once that curiosity that gets to running,
Mm,
that's when they start wanting to find more. And that's when they start to want to, okay, damn, he's talking about people don't even know they're suffering. Well, shit, am I suffering?
mm,
That's what we do. That's what we're here for. That's why we have to continue to lead by example. That's the best way you could do that. That's the best way you can handle that. Just continue to lead by example. Because you can't tell somebody something they don't know.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right.
You're talking to a wall at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
And that
it.
drains you. They over there like blank face. You're getting drained. Like, why are you still acting like this? You just punching the wall. Your hands bloody, and they're just sitting there, just they don't even feel affected.
Yeah, like zombies.
Zombies.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do we so do you think like do we need more role models in the sense
We do.
that's what you're getting at?
I say that a lot. Our celebrity role models, the black role models, we attach money to worth.
Mm,
So once you see somebody who has a lot of money, they attach that to worth. But once you see him doing ignorant things to get money, but he has a lot of money, you're like, oh, he can't be that dumb. He has money. He can't be that ignorant. He has money.
Mm.
I had a conversation with my cousin. He's a gangster from South Bronx, and we was talking about that. He's like I don't understand these dudes. They get millions when they like pop smoke all these rappers, like these gangster rappers. They have these millions, but how they move is dumb. Because he's saying like how you get killed. Why would you go to some areas that you know you get easy get killed? And I said, well, you got yeah. So he was saying like how why you have all this money but you moving dumb. And I said that's how they get them. They get the young and ignorant, like the ones that are not aware, because they know they're gonna wall out, and then it's gonna and that money's gonna go back to them.
That's
But
it.
I just feel like yeah, there's role models, but but it's like what you said when you just know all of that and like the environment, everything, like it's just. But I feel like this even now in this time with the good thing about social media besides the money part is that there's a lot of videos of gangsters speaking up, so-called gangsters speaking up like yo like that lifestyle like it's not necessary like there's B C D like for you to get out the hood, learn about this, and to go back to school. That was my question before now talk. Do you think school is necessary because there's so much information out there like? And that includes personal development, includes financial, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Like, do you think there's no need for you to go to school to learn about yourself, to learn about this next?
So me personally, I think okay. So in like the larger theory, we're being programmed. Social media,
I want
media,
to get there.
everything.
Yeah, I was trying. Yeah, I was trying. Like,
Yeah. And so with me, the reason why I feel so strongly about education in particular is not necessarily like the subject matter, but certain skills that you do learn. Like for example, one very, very big skill you need to learn as an adult is critical thinking. To be able to realize, like for example, recognizing, hey, the media lies a lot. Right. Recognizing a lot of the dynamics that you see portrayed are just power plays. Recognizing who has the power and just being able to move through the world using your brain. Because in my opinion, I think this is a whole other story for another day. But long story short, the education system that we have in America today, in particular, is programmed to create people to
be slaves.
exactly. It's getting you used to the 8-hour workday. It's getting used to overtime. It's getting used to basically just producing and contributing to capitalism and the wealthy. I think that the most important part of education is just like those base skills and being able to like use your brain. Like don't lose your creativity trying to achieve things. Don't lose like your intelligence and your curiosity um, along the way. And that's why me in particular, like I'm a college dropout.
Same.
Yeah, so I recognize like college, like I was in college, I wasn't learning anything because I was pumping out, assignments. So I think like those base level skills can be taught in alternative schooling ways, alternative education, or just getting that from education and then recognizing where you want to go from there. Just really about taking into consideration the information that you're giving and applying it to you as an individual, and then recognizing how you can contribute to the community.
Right. And luckily, even though I hated school, my mother always told me the best education is self-education. She always talking about knowing yourself, learning what's outside. Like I used to cut school, but I'll go to when I go to class and take a test, I'll pass it because I'll very like I love history, I love writing, I love math. So I always like learned on my own. I used to take my mom's books and like study on my own. The school, the way they taught it was no like, it didn't give me any energy. It was just very like, oh, do this, do this. I was like, no, learning should be fun. Um, Damn, you said something else. I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, like, and I think just education and itself, we all been programmed. So like even like if we can ask for help and how we communicate with people, like I know like Elijah always said, but like yo, communication in Miami is terrible, bro. It's like
God.
yo, like I'm like trying to be like yo, like ask me a question, like ask me something. Yo, like this, yeah, I'm gonna go. Nah, cause these people ask me how much I fucking charge for a photo shoot, and me, I'm flexible, but I'm not gonna tell you. Like I'm so used to people like yo, like negotiate. Like I'm open for negotiation. Might be they're like, okay, thank you. Like they don't want to, they get private because they don't want to look like they're broke or something. Like nah, like we all go through shit. Like I'm able to have an energy exchange. I don't know. I could go about Miami. Yeah, you from Miami? Like yeah. I've been here longer, so.
I only been here for a year. I don't think it's shit.
Oh, same.
But like from the outside looking in, the education in Miami is horrible.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
It is the like
Miami
oh
Dade.
yes, like the education system down here is like like I've been to a lot of cities, and this is the worst that I've
What?
What?
seen.
The heck?
Yes.
No, it's horrible down here. It's very horrible.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, so let's talk. We got time. Like, let's not.
Yeah,
I mean, you can speak from like being
Yeah.
in it, and I can just say my outside in.
It's just more like I don't want to get too controversial.
Bro, you might as well, man.
Yeah.
I'm already controversial.
It's just okay. I'm not gonna target a certain group, but like the Hispanics down here, they communicate differently.
Right.
So us, Black Americans, and I like strictly Black Americans, we don't have a culture of our own down here.
Mm.
We pick from each culture. We pick from Haitians, Jamaicans, but they're tight knitted. Haitians are tight knitted. Jamaicans are tight knitted.
The Caribbean.
Cubans, Hispanics, they're tight knitted. So you think you have us in the middle. We're picking from each. We're trying to learn from each race. We're trying to learn from each culture because we don't have one of our own. But then we go to the school systems. They don't teach us. Okay, this is who you guys are as a group. This is who are Black, and they don't teach us Black Americans. Our communities don't teach us what it means to be Black American, or like about knowing yourself in Miami when everybody's literally prejudiced against you.
Right.
So what the school system does is they will pump if you're an athlete, if you're how let me choose my words wise. If you're an athlete or you're somebody like we're popular, they will let those people skip.
Like status.
If you have status is big down here in Miami, so if you have status, they'll let those people skip.
A grade?
Like there's a player, he's in NFL right now, but he was like 2 grades behind me. They bumped his grade up to my grade so he could graduate and still continue to play football because he was that good in football. They don't Education is not big down here because we think, my community thinks we don't need education because there's people successful down here without education. But the reason they're successful is because those specific races and like groups, they have connects.
Mm.
So what they do is they will get these higher up positions and they'll plug their people in. So education doesn't matter down here for real. You don't need education to get to that next level. All you need is that status. If you have status down here, who cares if you know X, Y, and B? Who cares if you even know how to read? If you're bilingual, who cares? We just want status down here. So they push that status, and then by them groups being so tight knitted, it just leaves us Black Americans in the middle, just swimming. We want to go into this group, they push us out. We want to go into this group, they're prejudiced, and they push us out. So a lot of us are really be raising ourselves, but it be the streets. So that's what I say. Like the school system. The school
Is that
system.
part of the game? Like, is that part of the game of life?
Of course, that's just when you Black. That's just how it is. You feel me? Even in like Black schools, like you see how they treat like Black people treat their own neighborhoods. They throw trash on the ground. I seen one lady was like, "Oh, you're the only Black person I seen walk to the garbage." It's like this is the only neighborhood we got. Why are we destroying the only thing we have?
Because that's how they feel about themselves.
Reflection.
So when you have a school system doesn't really care about you, you got these other races don't want to. Them Black Americans, they're crazy. We don't associate with them.
And me, yeah, my mom is Dominican, so I know Spanish. So like, yeah, like, especially when I came, I mean, in general, Latinos have a perspective of Blacks because of media and also interacting with Blacks. But when I came down here to Miami, like, I was just like, yeah, I think I told him, I think I told now, I was like, yo, like, on some real shit, white Latinos are worse than white Americans. Like, yo, in my perspective, like, and I know Spanish, so I hear what they're saying, like, and how they think, and I'm just like, yo, like, there's Black people in your own fucking country, like, and it hit me, and that's why I was like, yo, these people only know what they know. It's like if you don't look like me and you're not my status, you don't exist, and it's just crazy like how like coming here, like yeah, it's just weird. So and even like the Black people, like I'm so like I've been to other parts of the South. I mean, of course, it's way different from North, but like the Black people, like they got a little culture, like yo, what's up? But here, like it's yo, when I first worked here, bro, a Black person snitched on me. I was like,
What?
that shit blew my mind. I was like, what? I even came out here. I was like, you snitched on me? They're like, oh, you're not working. I was like, that's some slave shit. Like I just bugged out. Like, I was like, yo, I'm from New York. I was like, if you're gonna snitch, at least be sneaky or like throw a little like subliminal, but like just sit. Oh, he not doing. I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Like, nah, she's on the phone.
She want to be
Yeah,
seen.
yeah.
She want to be seen. She been doing
The
that.
camera right there. That ain't even recording.
No, I'm talking about she want to be.
Yeah.
She been doing that the whole time. Look
But
how.
nah, but yeah, man, like that shit. But it's been a lesson, like just learn different groups, and then I just see like yeah, like I realized me being international traveler, I can relate to different people. Like okay, like oh Haitians, like yeah, my grandma's Haitian, boom, like I understand a little Creole, I hit them with and then like this group. But then I see like the Black Americans here, they just literally just like, damn, we don't fucking know, and everyone looks at them down. But also it's like me as a person takes accountability. I'm like, well, black men not really like pushing themselves to uplift themselves. I'm like, yo, like fuck everybody. Like we the fucking cult. We literally built this country. We the fucking real indigenous. I can keep going on the list. But the whole point is like just lack of knowledge of self, man, and lack of self love. I think that's what is really. And we really in the crowds in the bro, like we can't see each other. Like, bro, I don't know why still today that happens. Like, bro, this dude's eating, that means I'm gonna eat. Like, that's how I say it. Like, I don't, yeah, like,
Somebody else's success has nothing to do with yours. If you stay in your lane, you can find success as well.
right.
Like,
We can eat together. We all can eat. But
That's
it's,
what I'm saying.
it's the fact that you can make a million. Well, not you, but hypothetically, how black people operate. We both making millions, but I just make $1,000,000 and $1 more.
Oh,
$1 more. We both can be making millions. I just make $1 more.
Right.
You gonna mess up the whole operation. Now we both back to making zeros.
Right. And this is doing YouTube. He was talking about that. Like, he's like, yo, like, and 20 people you can trust, like, operate and, like, put their money together and grow operation. And y'all fully trust each other. Y'all would take over the whole game. But the problem is that people get infiltrated or they get like trust issues or they do some sneaky shit and lack of communication. So it's hard in business or for people to work together. You're talking about black people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, word, it's true. Like and a lot of black business owners tell me that, like, yo, like they'll literally just rather slap them like figuratively, like slap them than like another group, like an Asian or white person that wants to definitely come in and infiltrate or like has more money to buy this property when they could just easily help a brother out and shit like or sister out. But I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know. We had a level of love our energy, man. Yeah.
Well, speaking about groups, cause you saying about the 20 people, why do a lot of groups like why do they end up eventually like disbanding, like separating?
Mm.
Is there like a formula or equation for like a group to like actually stick together and be solid for like a
Ego.
long period of time?
I think yeah, that
What
Pretty
y'all
much
think?
ego.
I think it's just ego and plus I like to read history, so like I fuck with Malcolm X and it's most common in groups. I've been in groups, so when you think differently and you like have your own opinion or perspective, you're automatically like a threat. Like oh, he's outcasted. So I feel like a group that can stand together. One, that's like I said, is like putting ego to the side, communicate, transparency. Also, it has to be in a group where everyone's trying to evolve, like learn new things. They would just feel like oh, like yo, I learned this. Like yo, you want to learn? Like put each other on.
Like,
Each one teach one. That's what the 5% used to say. Each one teach one. That way, like the group could always steadily work together. It's like okay, like we all have the same purpose, the same mission. Like yo, like if there's a conflict, I could talk to you. I could, there's no, we can mediate it. I don't have to make a scene. I don't have to put on social media. Like yo, fuck this dude. Like that shit is corny.
yeah, that's social media
And
stuff, man.
I was telling now, like black people, we do that shit for free. Like we
For
fucking
free.
blow somebody's whole
Yeah.
thing. Meanwhile, the white people, you don't even know there's beef. On
Yeah.
the TV, they be like, "Hey, that's my man," but behind the scenes, they don't fuck with him. Like they don't fuck with each other. It's just like we don't know how to keep our shit private or know how to mediate or deal with conflict on our. I don't know, man. Just yeah.
But look at our celebrities, though. What you gonna say?
That's what y'all think about that.
I say, look at our celebrities. Like, we got Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. Like, these supposed to be the
City girls. Like,
not well, they are, but like but besides like city girls and like
Okay.
what they portray, they're supposed to be at the top. of the female, well, not female, woman rap game. You feel me?
Mm.
Yeah.
So by them being at the top, they're more focused on, oh, I don't want nobody coming for my position as the queen of this shit. Instead of, well, Cardi B does it, but somebody else like the queen of it, she'll be like, oh, I'm the queen.
You like
It's
You
not
don't,
the
you,
same, bro. We're not famous yet.
you don't want the barbs.
You gonna get doxxed?
Yeah, nah, the barbs are hard. Like they're hardcore fans. Like they will report your shit. Have your shit.
Word?
Yeah.
Who's the barbs?
That's Nicki Minaj's like that's her fan base. So like Beyonce got with Beehive,
Oh.
Nicki,
But
Oh.
they do that for real. Like
Barbs.
they got shit taken
Listen,
down.
if they ain't listening, yo, give us the publicity, you heard? Yeah.
They gonna look to take it down.
Bro, for real?
They're crazy like that.
They do.
They're
Like
insane.
the Queen Bee fans and shit?
No, not Queen Bee, just the bars.
The barbs.
They're
They're
insane.
insane.
Yeah.
They're
But isn't
insane.
that crazy how she had like a strong community that she could just like they do anything for like I never understood that concept.
But
when I was-
instead of you having that community,
Yeah.
instead of teaching them like, hey,
oh,
we're all women. We're all women in the rap game. We had to fight to be in the rap game. Let's all come together and shit, leave niggas in the dust. Like, let's come together, form a group. Let's do this shit. Big
Like
time with this
TLC
shit.
and all that, right?
Yeah, let's big time with this shit. You feel me? Let's all support each other, put each other on. But instead, it's competition. Like, why? Y'all had to fight to even be respected in the
Yeah.
rap game.
to break down the barrier.
The barriers. Now y'all break the barriers, and y'all competing with each other.
Yeah.
And then they still in the higher up still making money off all of them.
And I was
No,
just-
that's
I was
why
just gonna say
I
that.
can't even all like fully put the blame on them because like that's part of the programming, especially in the music industry. That's why the music industry will pump out these rap. We talk about gang shit. They will amp up this beef because look at when this beef was at its height. The beef was at its height. Like they was over here boxing at the Met Gala and shit. Like all of this
Oh
shit.
yeah,
like,
I remember that.
All of this disparity within the black community, it sells every single
Yeah.
time, and they're being like, we're
Pimp
gonna
C,
keep
Pimp C
falling
was saying
for it.
that. Yeah, Pimp C was saying like, yo, if rappers like got together and just like fuck everything, like and work in unity, it'll be over for them. But the industry literally lives off beef and like
Yeah.
negative shit. Like, and that's how they get their money. That's how like it grows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like man, that's why like people like us, like we should be thinking big time. Like you guys got iPower, we got the Roomies. Shit, we should get there once we get our pages. We get ourselves set up. We should be like, hey, you know what? Fuck it, let's get a label together. Let's do this. Let's make our own labels. Let's make our own banking.
Yeah.
Right.
Shit
Have our
like
own
that.
phone company. Yeah.
Like we got a whole. I'm not gonna say we have a lot, but we got billionaires and millionaires. It's like why we don't have our own? Let's get our own.
Right.
Because if we always keep putting our hands, we keep at the mercy of other races. They gonna do us dirty every time.
100%.
They gonna always protect their own, and that's what they're supposed to do. It's like
Exactly. Yeah.
we're the only ones who just seem to not be getting that.
Right. Yeah, man.
You know what's funny? Like we were talking about jobs and stuff. I think like a couple weeks ago, and he was just saying Elijah. He was telling me how were you saying like the Cubans will look out for like certain races and certain groups of people will look out for their people. Can you?
Yeah, it's like what the other Elijah said about here in Miami. Yeah, but in general, especially from New York, each group. I say a good example. When I say well, Miami is different, but New York, when I say I'm Dominican, Dominicans are more like, oh, word, da, 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 like yo, we do, da, 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 and they is more connected. Here in Miami, like they're more close knitted. Within the Hispanic, they're still separate. But if you just speak Spanish, you're already legit. And that's how every black person learns Spanish because they're validating you. And two, the jobs, yeah, like it doesn't matter what skills you have, it's just who you know. It's the same thing. It's who you know. Like, but here, like just like yo, like just knowing Spanish and now that I'm from this place, they're like, oh word, like yo, I like your vibe, like boom, like I just get jobs just by like just talking to people, just boom, and then this person knows this person. I was in, and that's it. But like when it comes to this brother man from Overtown, he's actually a crackhead, but I fuck with him. He was just telling me like, yeah, like he's talking about how, like he's like, yo niggas like black people don't work together, like bro. Like, he was like, I work in construction, bro. The black people would fucking leave out their own black people to get praised by the Cubans, but the Cubans don't give a fuck about us. They more like, oh, you ain't Cuban, like okay, cool, you snitch on your mans, but now we know how to divide and conquer y'all. And he tells her how the Cubans be doing it. Most of the Cubans here are white, so they separate them to know who's the bad apple, who's the good apple, some slave shit.
See, the thing is with the Cubans, like you say, they're worse than white Americans because not only they've learned from white Americans like how to play that system here, they're what white people started messing up at, they started like they kept focusing on black people, black people, black people, but they didn't realize these other communities are like sneaking in the cracks and getting their own to the point now they're like, oh, now you got Trump. Oh, now he's trying to put the focus on Hispanics. Oh, we need to build walls. We need to get them out of here. But it's like you got Hispanics as politicians now. They done snuck in the crack because they play on y'all racism. Y'all think just because they're white, y'all think they're white. Well, they have white skin. Y'all don't even realize they're Hispanic. But now they're putting their people on. They're taking over. Like Miami is literally mini Cuba. Like,
Yeah, it really is.
It really is. But that's how they not infiltrated but I'm not gonna say infiltrated. But that's how they came in. That's how they took over. They're they're sneaking in through the cracks, and they're using that system that white people use, and they're being strong. Like they're enforcing it. They're like this. They're tight with it.
And another thing too, if you study the history of Cuba before Castro, a lot of the older generation Cubans had businesses, have companies, and they were very prejudiced to black Cubans. So that's why I was used to get tight. I'm like, I told Mark, I was like, yo, what's good with white Cubans? Like, most of the island is 80% black. And he was like, you understand, like, he's like, my parents or my grandparents, like, when they came here, they had their business was gone because of communism and Castro. So they still have the mentality from the 60s, 50s, 40s, where like they see a black person like who's successful, like able to do their own thing, is not common to them because they were just servants to them. And until Castro took that out, that's why they moved here. So they still have that mentality that white, it is they are technically white, but which is kind of ironic because the white Americans don't even look at them as white. Like they know like, okay, yeah, you're white, but like there's some little like 1/100th black in you, like some shit like that. But just because they swag, how they talk, how they do things is very like Caribbeans and Caribbeans black. So, but it's just crazy, like and even that's deep too. That's a whole other thing, and
days, weeks.
I just feel like I think the most important relationship is with yourself, getting to know yourself, loving yourself, which is loving God. And I feel like you giving all that energy to anybody, even when people do you wrong. I learned this recently. Like it's hard, but when people do you wrong, you still gotta show them love. Like not like love, like I don't fuck with you, but I send you love from afar. Like I got no hate. And
hey, that's more a reflection of themselves.
Exactly.
right, exactly.
They betray you, they're betraying themselves.
Right,
That's all
100%.
they know. They're just projecting that.
Right.
So if they lie to you, they're lying to themselves on
And how you dealt with that from betrayal?
I know me personally, like, oh my gosh, like in the past, like the way I react to like things like that, it's just like it's literally like water off my back now. Like that's you. Like I know I didn't do anything to you. Like that's really just you projecting your own feelings. Like I feel bad for you, really. So it's just like I'm now in a space like where I don't take it personally. Like if there's a situation I need to like communicate, like hey, you're not gonna do me like this. So and then just set those boundaries, and it's just like it gets easier. Like it's hard, like setting boundaries at first. It's just like, oh no, you want to be a people pleaser, everybody like you. But it's just like I am so comfortable with people not liking me. Like I don't give it.
But do you think that's a conditioning that we grew up in, like having to like even to like stand your ground and having boundaries? Do you think being afraid to say that or even communicate that? Do you think it's a condition like like this person may not like me, or like you feel bad to be your own person? Like,
yeah, well, especially as a woman, because as a woman, like you're even taught like if somebody even makes you uncomfortable, like still trying to like please them or like present yourself as like happy or whatever like that. But I know me personally, like I'm so like if you think I'm a bitch, that's fine. If you think I'm this, that's fine. Because that conditioning that in the past telling that I needed to like act a certain way regardless of how I'm being made to feel in this situation, like that conditioning is just gone. Like it was a lot of
that's
work.
amazing.
It's definitely a lot of work, but like,
100%.
Like the journey is so worth it.
No, it is.
Cause now that I'm like so comfortable being myself, like I attract people who like fuck with me. You know what I mean? So it's just like slowly, like that's not even becoming an issue. Deal with it.
Because you're doing the inner work and like what? So now we're in the inner work, and this is basically goes back to the whole conversation we're having. So with inner work, what do you think? Why is it so important to do the inner work, and what benefits have you received from continuously doing the inner work?
Just like the biggest benefit is just being self assured and like you're placing the world in who you are as a person because you know that's the only thing I can really control is myself. I can
Mm.
control myself. I can control my reactions to things like that. Inner work has helped me to recognize and be more aware of just the world around me and how to operate within like certain situations and everything. And so that inner work that I do within myself, like I'm able to like radiate that out, like radiate that energy of like this is who I am, this is what I bring to the table. So with that, it's just
Food.
anyway. It's just really like magnetization. Like this is what I am, and so I attract things
Like a
that
magnet.
exactly.
Like a magnet.
It really is just like that. Like the more and more work you put in with like trying to heal yourself and everything, and just like the more things start to fall into place. And it's gonna feel like it falls apart before it falls into place. That's the craziest part. Like it's not actually falling apart. The pieces just coming together in a way that you didn't even like. You can't even imagine.
Those bars.
She hit. She hit right now.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She challenging right now. That shit is heavy right
You
now.
gotta try it.
Yeah. She said you gotta try it.
You gotta be a leap of
Man,
faith.
she just hit the bars.
Yeah.
It'd be that leap of faith. It's like I had on my vision board. It's just like life begins when you get uncomfortable.
Mm.
So it's just like if you're too comfortable, something's wrong because it's like at that point you're living in delusion.
She said living in illusion.
You
So
live in-
let's talk about this illusion. So explain that for people who don't know.
When I say like you're living in delusion, you're comfortable, you think everything is right. It's like, bro, like me. Let's talk about me. I wake up, I play the game, go to work, come home, play the game, go to sleep. I mean, in my head, I'm like, shit, I'm doing the best I can. Like this is life. Life is straight for me. Like I'm good. But then I'm like, okay. Once I started breaking out of that, I'm like, wait, hold on. Why? Before I even like handle my responsibilities, I jump straight to the game. Like before I like wash my face, brush my teeth, I cut on the game. It's like that's a problem. But me feeling like okay, I'm doing nothing wrong in my life, being so comfortable because the game is my comfort zone. It's like I'm forgetting like, bro, I'm neglecting my health, I'm neglecting my physical body, like I'm neglecting my emotions because I'm putting it all into a virtual game. Like I'm at work, I'm drained at work, but I don't notice how drained I am because I go home and I just put it all into the game. I use the game to help me escape. So it's just like at that point, I'm living in delusion. Like I'm thinking everything's okay, but I'm falling apart. So that's what it is to me. People try to, but once I notice, like, okay, let me write something. Let me write. Let me communicate my emotions. Those aren't comfortable for me, but it's like I've noticed myself. It's getting easier, getting better at it. Now I can start putting the game less. Now I can put the game down. Now I'm asking myself, why am I playing the game so much? Am I even enjoying myself? I said the game is not even really fun to me. At that point, that's a problem. It's like if this game is not enjoyable, why am I still continue to keep playing it?
Do you think it's like a programming for you to not deal with reality?
Oh yeah.
I was telling Elijah like he would wake up and just turn on the PlayStation and that little beat. I was like, you literally Pavlov yourself. So like that beat, you get that satisfaction.
No, I was about to end.
Yeah, that's a big one. Like that Pavlov. Once you hear that beat, once you hear that beat, it's like you're just in a whole nother world at that point. It's like you put on a VR headset, you just leaned in, just staring at the screen. You feel me? But that's
Yeah, he got me like, damn.
What is
fuck with
that?
that shit.
So what do you think is happening to your brain as you're going through it? that like you getting some type of dopamine effect?
Yeah, you getting that dopamine, but you killing your dopamine levels. You're brain dead once you put that game down. Once you put that game down, I crash it. I go to
That
sleep.
sounds like pornography when you watch porn.
That's all it is. You're killing your dopamine levels at a high level, whereas like your body, once you put the game down, you just crash. You
Mm.
can't even handle your responsibilities because you crash. You now you're unmotivated anymore. Even if you was like, maybe I should do it, you can't because you're physically your body's just done for. Like it's like a drug you keep putting it. It's not like literal drug, but it's literally like damn near a drug. You feel me?
Right.
So
Yeah, I think. What was that?
Oh, is that?
you
Oh,
It's so
yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's so good.
still got
But
the audio.
no, I want to now before you, there was three things you mentioned. Damn, I had it in my head. I forgot.
I was
Because you mentioned the game, the escapism. You mentioned
yeah, I was about to say escapism.
and I had a question for that. You used three things. I was like, okay, boom. I had a question for that. I had a question for this.
The programming, the Pavlov,
No, I said programming.
the VR head,
Dopamine.
The
zombie.
VR. Okay, so all right. So I tried the VR. I did like when I was with my ex. Her cousin had a they call it the Oculus. Yeah. So I mean, first of all, it looks dumb. I mean, even seeing them with the shit, I was just like, nah. But I tried it, and like,
Put
yo,
that motherfucker on.
bro. Now when I tried it, bro, my brain was like, what the fuck? Like, it was like a zombie, some zombie shit. But just even the fact that even though I know my body is in this reality, my brain was like confused. It was just like, what is this in front of you?
Immersed.
And there's people like coming after me, and I'm like, yo, like, and I just took it off. I said, and my brain, like, once I took it off, my brain had to adjust to this reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yo, I feel like I'm already in an illusion. And then I fucking put myself in
An
another
illusion,
simulation,
an illusion.
another illusion.
Yeah.
So my brain's like, okay, what is this? You already live in this part. Why are you in this? So what do you think, or why, yeah, what do you,
Why they
what's your
pushing
opinions
that?
on the
Yeah.
essay, bro?
Because-
What do you-
Oh, for me personally, like I think we're already living in a simulation. Like
Mm.
I think that they had like something that just came out that proved that. But like
Oh yeah.
all of these things, like you're literally making your simulation even smaller. And with that, you're much easier to control because like you go to the job and be brain dead because you have something to escape. Like that's why you'll scroll on your phone because that's a whole other world because you're escaping from the world that instead of making it more like what you want. Like it's just all about that convenience and that ease of doing it.
And I think they're able to get it because they understand the psyche of the human brain, so they know like just enough dopamine, just enough like even like Undertale was talking about like yo because of TikTok, people's attention spans. If you don't get the 1 to 3 seconds, it's over. Like people can't even read. People can't even read the caption. People can't even like people just scroll. So I feel like they find a way to like get people into that dopamine addiction. Like when you talking about with the game. Now I remember my question. So when I mentioned it's like it sounds like pornography, do you think that the same how you feel depleted just by you playing a game, you're not even like this is weird thoughts. You're not having sex, you're not mastering it, but just you being depleting your energy by playing the game. Do you think it's the same or in the similar category of like pornography, like when men and women watch it, like the psyche with us different?
That one is a little tough because I feel like with pornography, I feel like with everything you do is moderation. You feel me? You always want to have moderation. Like don't over consume. But it is also like I don't know, man. That pornography is definitely hard. That's a hard one.
The thing in particular
hard.
that is really harmful to men is because just thinking about the difference in, or like for example, women orgasms is more of a neurological mental thing.
Right.
For men, it's mostly mechanical, but a lot of the times it's like easier to get that mechanical response, but when you're consuming pornography it helps you do it faster rather than like the mental like intimacy or whatever that stimulates the senses. Like why go through all that process when you can just watch the porn quick release,
Yeah.
and it's just you get that satisfaction very
Word.
fast.
Motherfuckers don't even do plumber scenes anymore. Delivering the pizza anymore. They just straight
Word.
into
And
it.
I was like, yo, none of the fucking foreplay, nothing.
They
Not like
just-
they come in like, I'm here to fix your door.
For real, like, motherfuckers, they lack creativity, but you don't need it.
No, because people, everything's, and that's, and back to what you both were saying, the fast and convenience. Even how we shop. Now, why gotta go to the store? I just order from Amazon. This shit come like
Amazon,
one day.
Instacart, Uber
Yeah,
Eats.
Instacart, fucking DoorDash, Uber Eats, like everything's just straight dopamine. Like it's just so fast, bang, 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 bang. Like
But to add on what you was gonna, to add on what you were saying, since everything's so instant, do you think that's a reason why a lot of people want that instant success or instant gratification?
100%,
100%. It's a lot of times the programming. The trick, if y'all ever want to like sell somebody something, the trick would be accessibility. How easy can they access this, and how can it work? Like how fast can it work for them? So like with TikTok, it's so easy. Like you say that 1 to 3 span. Oh, it didn't catch my attention. Swipe to the next one. Swipe to the next one. Swipe to the
That's like
next
a
one.
dopamine. You got swipe.
Or like let's say you use Tinder. If you don't have with Tinder, you have
She's not cute.
Huh?
Swipe left.
but you have a limited amount of likes. So let's say if you keep swiping, you have to wait 10 hours to keep swiping again.
Right.
So that's how they get you, because they cut off that accessibility.
Then what you hooked on?
They want you hooked on. Then they throw some bots in there, like, oh, you got 10 people who liked it too.
Oh, so they're like,
Like this.
so it's like, oh shit.
That's literally how they. If you're
That's
not, that's why I say if you're not good with if you don't know how to regulate your dopamine levels, motherfuckers will milk you dry. Motherfuckers will milk you. Like, look at the PS4. Me and her was just chilling. We was on shrooms chilling. Like, the screen is blue.
Yeah.
That's how, like, even to the littlest detail. PS4 screen is blue. Blue is a color for comfort. So they want
calmness.
Calmness.
That's my favorite color. That's my favorite color.
We was on shrooms and like the PS4 home screen music. I was like, oh, this is something.
It's make you feel calm, relaxed.
Yeah.
They make you feel familiar.
Familiar. That's
So-
what blue is for. Right.
And then they got the music that go behind
music,
that calm
yeah.
music.
Dang.
You hear that
Floating
PS?
through space.
You floating, but that shit feel like home to you, bro. Then as you play the game, you get achievements. You get like the media. Like you go to your little gallery, it take pictures of your achievements. It take pictures of your memories. That shit like a mini home within your home. It's like, bro, you can't beat that. Like you can't beat that. Look at Xbox. They're green. Green makes you feel good. It makes you
Love
feel
is a color for love.
exactly. So it's like even to the smallest of details, they're triggering those dopamine levels. You play these games, but the games are colorful. They're never. You can't play no dull game. You can't play no game that's gray because it's not feeding into
Not
your.
feeling to you, right?
That's what I say. If you can't regulate your shit right, bro, the world is milking you dry.
Yeah, you're in danger.
But who needs the most dopamine? The black community. We need dopamine. We need dopamine so much because we don't know how to regulate it. So that's why we get it from clothes. We get it right. Well, we'll make that expensive purchase because we don't give a fuck. As long as that bitch say Amiri, I'm feeling good.
Right.
Until the next Amiri come out.
Quick orgasm, you just got buying that shit.
Until the next Amiri come out, they make it limited. Now you feel like you got to get that one because it's limited, just so you can feel better than others. That's how they milk you. They keep milking you.
Damn, it's like a whole like psyop shit, bro. It's psychological shit.
I seen a video. It was on TikTok. On TikTok, the guy was just showing the Louis Vuitton belt. He just broke it down. And he was just showing how much it's really worth and how much they selling for. And I guess people buy for the brands. They want to flex on people. Black people like flexing on other black people too for some reason.
But I have a my bad.
You know, I was gonna say, and just like you said, that flexing. Look how crazy. Listen how crazy this is to the lengths they'll go just to flex on the people. Black people are so homophobic, but they don't care when it comes to other races being gay. Because Versace is gay. Givenchy, gay. Like
Even
Gucci, gay. It's like, y'all are so
I'm not gonna
homophobic.
like this one.
Y'all are so homophobic. Like, how can y'all be so homophobic, but y'all give y'all lives
Yeah.
to gay designers.
European.
Like, how can you be so homophobic? But y'all would give y'all last just to feel alive.
And what I always felt was gay too growing up. Motherfuckers would look at your outfits like. I was like, I used to be like, yo, I was like, that's mad homo. Like, y'all talking about that anti-gay shit. But you're looking at my jeans, literally. You're looking at my ass to see what's my brand I'm wearing. Like, that's tight pause.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, bro. Look at my sneakers. Looking at my whole fit. Like, oh, look at his hairline. What are you looking at my feet, bro?
Man, and these girls walk around in some Sheen, some $10 ass outfits.
They get away with it.
And they get away with it. So it's like, bro, at what point do you realize this shit don't make sense?
Now we good.
Just checking in.
Yeah.
It's like, at what point do you realize, bro, we spending $1,000 and they walk around with some $10 outfits, just feeling themselves, looking good. It's like, at what point do you niggas realize, bro, the clothes don't make me. I make the clothes. Like me, I walk around like this. I got toothpaste on my shorts, and I still feel like, oh, bag, you need.
That's what I'm saying. I seen it, and I see it right down.
When you know you that nigga, bro, nobody can move you for real. All that no, the girl tell you, oh no, I don't give a fuck. Hey, what's your friend about?
And I was telling now, I was like, yo, bro, when a girl rejects me, I look at her stupid because I'm like, she just missed out on the whole god.
Like, shit, if that's the case, what's your friend about? Then the friend feeling you, and now she wanna. Oh, why you wanna talk to my friend?
Niggas like, damn.
What?
What?
You got something you wanna say?
No, I'm straight. I mean, they have Shein and men too.
Yeah.
Nigga, I done walked out with some hole in my jeans. You seen that big ass hole in my jeans? Still rocking that bit. I might, close my legs a little bit so the whole guy saw him. But hey, I'm finna get my money's worth. Fuck you, me.
You wearing them shoes? The fuck else?
With what?
The shoes that broke apart, and you came to visit me, and I hear them. I hear a flop.
Oh, my shoes, the flap of my shoes, they was breaking. So they were flopping.
That shit happens to me too many times.
I don't give a fuck. You finna get whatever come out these motherfucking drawers.
I be commando, so I gotta be low key with that.
Say it again.
I said I be commando, so I can't afford to be holes in that shit.
But nah, for real, that's just all about knowing your worth, bro. Like, clothes don't make me, you feel me? I make the clothes. I feel like to the point, nigga, start my own fashion brand, call it a fucking day, wear my own shit, you feel me?
And I was saying that with David, I fuck with him, but I was like, yo, because they sued him, they even like took away his shit, and he made it poppin'. That's really, I didn't even know about Ghost until that because of the hip hop, but like, yo, like then they gave him a clout to do the brand, but I'm like, the whole time he could have been doing his own shit.
Yeah.
It literally be that simple.
He ran right back to them.
It literally be that simple, but it be like, that shit be hard, man. You try to do your own thing, niggas look at you crazy for it.
At first they started looking at you crazy, but keep it pushing. Then they gonna talk about how they do.
I get it. Yeah.
Facts. That's the same thing. Like, yo, I got a new job. You get congratulations. And he's like, yo, I'm starting a whole business. And like 1-2 people are like, oh, okay.
Like, you don't even have to like pay for my shit. Just throw a like.
Just share.
Share. Like, shit. It might be somebody.
That fucking sharing Rihanna's. You fucking sharing Rihanna's shit. That bitch don't give a fuck about you shouldn't even know.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I remember that thing. Everybody was sharing Rihanna stuff. You could share Rihanna stuff, but you can't even share your friends.
I was like, that's sharing. You didn't even know her. Like, she don't even know you.
She would never see you.
They're gonna make a hard ass shirt. $15. $15. Michael Mary.
500.
500. Oh,
a band.
Yeah, right here.
Cap it now.
Same quality, same air, just Amari.
And you just looking at it nigga like, he just like, shit, I ain't have it at the time. I ain't have 15.
Nigga, I just saw you with Amari, so what you talking about?
I just see you in the club, Michael Mary, like.
Look at me, the TikTok about Mary.
Like,
you spent $15 on my shit.
Exactly.
Yo, come on, brother, give me a discount. Yo, what?
Oh my god.
Let's get into that.
No.
Yo, no, what do you think about? What do you think Wait, all right. So when black people have their own business, right, and it's the entrepreneurship is growing. What do you think about black people when they act when they first start off their own business, and customers come and they ask for a discount because they're black? What's your feelings about that?
That's what they see your word
Oh,
as.
exactly. Like, oh my god, when I started my lingerie business, like the amount of random ass people from high school in my DMs asking for free shit, I was like, y'all don't have no dignity. Like, we never even talked like that, but all of a sudden you see my shit and now you want to ask for some free clothes, like, bruh, that's just like, I'm sorry, that's just like the most gutter ass shit ever.
50 followers can't give me promo for it.
Exactly. Like, why would I give you free clothes? Why?
They be the same ones probably used in high school talking about you behind your back.
Oh, bro, it's just like, bro.
Yeah, that's just what they see your work as.
Yeah.
You come on, oh, let me get a discount. They tell you 15, sell it to me for the 5. That's what they see you as. See you as a $5 shirt because you made it.
That be the problem with anything. Like, that's why a lot of the times, like, your biggest supporters are going to be strangers because,
Yeah.
like, all of, like, people only see you as like what you used to be,
Yeah.
and so it's really hard for people to grasp the concept of you like growing out of that perception that they used to have of you. So it's just like you really just gotta ignore it, honestly, because putting energy into it is just it's not worth it. I can tell you from experience, it's not. Just
Fuck Michael Leary, I'm your dog.
exactly.
Sandbox, graveyard, like we used to play kickball. You don't know what Michael Leary. He probably I hate niggas.
Man, sometimes they tell you, man.
Yeah,
Tommy Hilfiger, all of them.
In your face,
Tommy,
Gucci with
all
the
of them.
noose.
Oh, we're gonna boycott Gucci. We're gonna boycott H&M. Niggas are still in the fucking stores, like buying them shit. I'm like, fuck out of here.
It's so much.
Hate
It's
you
so
niggas.
crazy because that's an outrage tactic. That's a thing now. Like they
I was
will
gonna
do
get into
that just so you can like get the publicity around their brand.
Right.
You can go buy that shit.
It's a whole marketing strategy.
No hope for you niggas. That's all you can say.
That's why I fuck with Kanye because he's genius. He does shit like that to get marketing strategy. Yeah.
Son, garbage, man.
The only thing I would say with Kanye is he's starting to cross that line of hate crime. You feel me? Like what he's talking about, like the Jews and all that, like DEFCON and all that shit. It's like some people you watch can take your message the wrong way.
Nah, but alright, I have unbiased on this though. But on some, my perspective on that was to show that yeah, you rich, one of the richest black men in America, but we have the power. It's like Drew saying no, like you need to chill out. We have the power, like type shit. Because all of a sudden he talks shit, but hey,
But he has
everybody.
to be able to like
No,
he has to provide clarity in what he says. He says things where he understands it in his mind, but we're not Kanye. So
yeah, I
that's
know.
why I say with your fans, you have to be careful with what you say because some people can take.
No, but he's been doing it for a while. But as soon as he mentioned Jews, they're like, oh nah, you need to chill out.
Nah, but Jews, they definitely
They run this shit. I don't know they listen. They do.
they run this shit, but like, nah, for real though. But like, even with the White Lives Matter thing, he's like, well, Black Lives Matter was a scam. It's like you guys, we're looking at the wrong message. That is niggas, but like we keep looking at the money part of it. It's like yes, they scammed us. They did what they had to do. They scammed us. And it was by one of our own, but yes, they scammed us. But the message that we was trying to send with Black Lives Matter, do not forget that part of it because it was also a message behind that. We was trying to say not nobody else's lives didn't matter. It was just saying like in this moment right here, let's put a spotlight. But they're getting on. Oh, it was a scam. It's like because they took money.
Because they're talking about the organization, right?
Yeah, the organization is like no, don't focus on the organization. Once you focus on the organization, you're giving them that power over the message. Because now people could start putting us on the back. That's why people are using like, oh, Black Lives Matter. That's just a scam. It's like no, the message. What about the message behind Black Lives Matter? And that's what he was saying too. He's like, oh, it was a scam, this and that. It's like no, don't worry about the organization. Worry about the message. That's why I say he can be off the rails sometimes.
Yeah, even Candace Owens, she's making a documentary about like she actually going to hoods and like these people that's supposed to donate money to the hood, like they never did, and what happened to the hoods and shit like that. I mean, it's a trailer I saw. I was like, I mean,
wait, who?
Candace Owens. Look at her face. I think she's from Texas.
Not even.
That's your people.
Yo, claim that's your boo.
That's your
She
people.
probably from one of the big towns. Do not claim that shit.
Wow.
Wait,
Yeah.
she
She's
better
dead
not
ass going. I think she from somewhere.
She better not be. She probably from Dallas. She's from Stamford, Connecticut.
Oh. Man.
It's niggas in Connecticut.
Word. Nah, yo, I met a dude. I met a black man from Iowa. I said, "There's niggas in Iowa." He said, "Yeah." I was like,
That's so random.
"Yeah, man."
Iowa, that's crazy. Nah,
Man,
I knew like once I heard it was like niggas in Alaska, I was like, oh, niggas could be anywhere.
Anywhere,
Yeah.
bro.
Alaska,
We everywhere,
it's
bro.
too cold to be in. So I ain't know niggas like the cold, bro. But Alaska, that's crazy. But yeah,
But I mean,
we got a lot of content. You guys got to make like part 2, part 3.
Yeah, I understand that.
literally. Yeah, but like, what's a good message for the people? Like, to end on a good note for this podcast.
Know yourself, know your worth.
Yeah.
That's an original statement. Nobody else.
You can't go with something else, Eli?
That's literally our statement. Just know yourself, know your worth. Always strive to be the best you. You feel me? Don't be the best what your parents want you to be. Cousin, sister, brother. Be the best you, and let others see you being the best you, and inspire them to be the best them.
Wow, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for this. I really
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
having us.
No, I manifested this for us to work together. Yeah, this is, yeah,
Great content.
yeah, it's beautiful.
It's like you guys like part 3, part 2. Like you guys have content for like days.
Yeah, no. Stop it.